Chapter 5, the most controversial and differentiated chapter of them all. There were so many changes and new additions this chapter throughout its 4 seasons, and today we're going to take a look back at these 4 seasons and determine which one is the best. But before we get into the video, just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support. Just be sure to subscribe, like this video, be sure to use code Brivy in the item shop when you're purchasing anything. Anyways, enjoy the video. Chapter 5, Season 1. This was a pretty good season. It's the only season in Chapter 5 that I can say met its expectations. Obviously, we got a new map, and it was pretty good the first season. Decent biome diversity, new architecture, and just a whole new feel to a Fortnite map. It was a more realistic approach. They also added the train, which was pretty cool. I don't think it was as impactful on the gameplay as I thought it'd be, though. Now, I never really loved the map, but I did like it. I will say, though, looking back, I did not like the European architecture. It was cool at first, but it got so old so fast. But enough about the map, let's talk about new additions. I think the first and most noticeable change was medallions. I think medallions are a really cool idea. Now, early in the season, they were brain dead busted because they constantly healed your shield at an alarmingly fast rate, so it was really hard to fight against. Now, they eventually did nerf the rate at which shields increased, so that was good. And I do like medallions as an idea, but I think they did them a lot better in the other 3 seasons. They were more creative. I like the idea of special abilities more than just regenerating shield. Another addition was weapon mods. Weapon mods were super cool at the time because we'd never seen anything like it in the game before. It was really cool to be able to put your own spin on your weapons. But with this addition, there was a cost. Bullet drop. I absolutely despise bullet drop. I think it's one of the worst mechanics that they've ever added to the game. However, I don't think I cared about it too much in Season 1. Season 1 was just kind of, ooh and about everything new, so I don't think I was too focused on it in Season 1. Make no mistake though, it was a terrible addition and thank God it's gone. Let's talk about the weapon meta. I think this was a pretty good weapon meta. There were a few issues which I'll get to in a second, but let's talk about some good weapons right quick. Striker AR. Fantastic AR, one of the best they've ever added in the game, ever. Even with bullet drop, this thing was still insane. Thunderburst SMG, oh my lord. Hands down the most fun to use SMG they've ever added. And it was balanced too. It wasn't super broken because it was a burst, but it was insanely accurate so you could still beam kids with it. Those 2 weapons alone carried this weapon meta. Then of course you got the Nemesis AR and Hyper SMG, which were alright. Very basic, decent weapons. Oh yeah, and then we got the Grapple Blade, which is a movement item, but it's part of the weapon meta. This thing was pretty cool, actually. I personally didn't love it because it felt really clunky and stiff when using it, but honestly, I think that was the intention. It's really just preference, but even I can admit this thing was cool, even if I didn't really like it. And it was really cool. Then we turn to the problems. Snipers were disgustingly broken this season. I'm not saying they weren't fun or good or anything else. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying they were too easy to hit shots with. There was virtually no bullet drop on snipers, and they shot insanely fast. So you could literally aim right at someone's head, and you would hit them right in the head. I absolutely suck with snipers, but this season I was super good with them because it was easy to hit shots. And it was annoying at times because sniper became even more of a bailout item than they are, and that's really frustrating for a competitive player. And shoot, even for a regular player, no one wants to get headshot sniped. There's no fun in that. And the other problem was the shotgun meta. It was completely unbalanced. The hammer pump was absolute dog water in Season 1. It was absolute dog water throughout the whole chapter, but it was really bad in Season 1. And the auto was disgustingly broken. I don't find spam shotguns fun to use, which is what the Frenzy auto was. So the shotgun meta for me and a lot of others wasn't really fun, and that's a problem because the shotgun meta is pretty important. I don't want to use an auto shotgun and get in people's faces and spam left click. It's just not fun for me. Then of course we got mythic weapons. Mythic Striker AR, Mythic Frenzy Auto Shotgun, and Mythic Hammer Pump with none other than Peter Griffin as the boss. That was pretty cool. It was cool how they put his pain animation in the game. I thought that was really funny. And then there was also the Ninja Turtle collab toward the end of the season, which was pretty cool. And the Battle Pass was alright as well. Overall, this was a pretty good season. Now, it did get boring, as does every Season 1, but I'm feeling a solid 7.4 for this season. Chapter 5, Season 2. This season was okay, but it could have been great. They messed up this season so bad. It's a fantastic theme, and they just decided not to expand on it at all. Yeah, let's take the Wings of Icarus out for half the season and replace them with Avatar mythics. It's not like the mythics have nothing to do with the season's theme at all. Oh wait, this season really reignited my hatred for collabs, because the mythics were so annoying. It would have been a different story if they were actually fun and enjoyable, but they weren't. It was just spam from 8,000 meters away. Airbending was pretty cool, not gonna lie. But everything else was so annoying. Anyways, I actually liked the map. The underworld biome was really cool with the water that gave you the double jump skulls, which I also really liked. And the orange Mount Olympus biome was pretty cool as well. It wasn't as cool as I thought it would be at the beginning of the season, but it was still pretty good. Weapon meta was pretty good as well. They added the Gatekeeper shotgun this season, and it kind of ran the shotgun meta for the rest of Chapter 5. So I mean, it was a good shotgun. Warforged AR was very good to me despite the hate it got by the masses. I don't know why people hated this thing so much. And the Huntress DMR was pretty good as well. And this is when medallions really gained their identity to me. There was a double dash one that Cerberus dropped. There was a combat one that did bonus damage, I think. There was a speed medallion, and there was a siphon medallion. So this is when medallions started to get cool. Other additions include the weapon bunkers, which I really liked. Wings of Icarus. What a fantastic item. Literally, probably my favorite movement item they've ever added. And it was in the game for like a month in total. Thunderbolt of Zeus. This thing was incredibly broken at the start. They eventually fixed it. Other items were also broken, like the Chain of Hades. But that one wasn't too bad. Also, they brought back the Flora's Lava LTM, which was actually pretty good. I actually really liked that because it gave us a glimpse of an LTM. And the Battle Pass was pretty good too. There were some pretty iconic characters. Pretty cool overall. Overall, this was a pretty cool season. I hate what they did with the Avatar stuff. This season could have been like a 9, and instead it's like a 6.5. Chapter 5, Season 3. The season that brought the community endless controversy and dissension. The season that wrecked Fortnite. Ha. I apologize. Anyways, I did not like this season. As a wannabe competitive player, I had to take a step back this season. I played a lot less, and when I did, I played casually. I played a lot of zero build. I had some fun too. I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't. I just think competitive was absolutely miserably bad this season. All they had to do was split the loot pool. That's all they had to do. Map changes were pretty good. I liked the sand biome, and the POIs were pretty cool. Weapon meta really wasn't too bad. Besides all the chaos. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I've said it all before, but Nitro Fist, broken. Cars, broken. Nitro Splashes, broken. And those three things made me absolutely miserable for a majority of this season. Medallions and mythics this season were really cool. The Nitro medallion was cool. Really, that whole mechanic was cool except the running straight through builds part. The unlimited ammo medallion was super good, especially with the boom bolt, which it actually came with. And the shield one was alright as well. Collabs. I have to talk about collabs. They did really well with collabs this season. Pacing was really good. The game remained pretty fresh because they kept adding pretty sizable collabs. The Metallica collab brought us a whole game mode on top of the Loot Island change. And the guitar mythic, which was fantastic. The guitar was so fun to use. The Pirates of the Caribbean collab was honestly pretty weak sauce, but it was alright. It was still cool. And then the Fall Guys update came into the game right at the end, and I really liked that little mini game on the map. And then Magneto stuff came into the game, which, I mean, honestly, I didn't really play much of, so. As much as I don't like this season, or just collabs in general, I have to admit they did very well with them this season. And yeah, the Battle Pass was pretty good this season. It wasn't terrible. Wasn't amazing, but I liked it. And that's honestly all I have to say about this season. I can't stress enough how unbalanced and unfun this meta was for skilled players. And that just shouldn't happen. Good players shouldn't be punished for being good at the game. And that's really what it felt like this season. I'm feeling a 3.8 for this season. And last but not least, we got Chapter 5, Season 4. Much like Season 2, this season was also very disappointing. My hopes were really high at the start of the season. They launched it really epically, and my hope kind of diminished over time. Now, I don't think the season was bad by any means. I just think I was expecting it to develop a lot more than it did. Kind of like Season 2. I really like this Battle Pass. Another Marvel themed pass, and I think they did a really good job with it. Vibrant skins, really cool cosmetics. It was nice. Map was kind of a flop, if I'm being totally honest. The only POI I thought was super interesting was Castle Doom, because it's a giant castle. Every other location I just felt like wasn't super interesting, or I'd seen it before. And the biome in the top right was just alright. I mean, it was pretty, but it wasn't really anything special to me. Weapon meta. I actually really like this weapon meta. ARs were fantastic. They brought the Striker back and added an updated Striker Burst, and it was pretty good too. Sovereign Shotgun was a really good addition. Kind of added that tac shotgun type weapon to the meta. Monarch Pistol was so fun to use, and it was really good as well. And we got the micro SMGs, which were really good as well. The only problem I had with the weapon meta was the War Machine Arsenal. It kind of gave me flashbacks to the mechs back in Chapter 1 Season X. There was really no way to stop the Arsenal in the beginning. They did eventually take it out of Ranked. I believe, and they did nerf them a little bit, but man was it annoying at first. You could find them everywhere and they took 0 skill to use. Everything else was good though. I liked the jetpack. It took me a while to figure out how to use it, but I did like it. Medallions were all good, except Mysterio's. That thing sucked the entire season. They, for some reason, never fixed it, never changed it, and it could have been really cool. Don't know why they didn't, but whatever. All the mythics were cool, and I liked how they didn't release them all at once. It gave me something to look forward to. It kept me waiting, and I liked that. Then, of course, the Isle of Doom came into the game. I remember that was a big update. Then we got the Halloween update, which I really liked. The chainsaw was super fun to use, and I liked the addition of Freaky Fields, and not just because of the name. I love a good farm POI, and I think I had missed that the last few months before this season. Also, the Boom Billy bombs were pretty cool as part of the Jigsaw collab. Then, of course, we got the pumpkin launcher in the witch room, like always. And you could actually hide in the scarecrows at Freaky Fields, which I thought was hilarious. I thought Fort Nightmares was really cool this season, and it honestly made the game really fresh. And that's about it for this season. I really don't know why this season was as dull as it was, because they actually did a pretty good job with everything. Weapons, mythics, locations, collabs, pacing, events, it was all pretty solid. I guess it just felt really recycled, I mean, because it was, and that must have just made it boring for me. It was very underwhelming because I guess I set my expectations too high. Overall, I'm feeling a 6.7 for this season. So with that being said, this chapter had an average season score of 6.1 out of 10, which is actually, I think, the lowest so far, and I think that's right. I think chapter 5 is probably the worst chapter. My favorite season from this chapter was chapter 5 season 1, and my least favorite was chapter 5 season 3 based on my scores. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching this video. I really like this series. Let me know if you want to continue. Just like this video if you do. Just be sure to subscribe if you like this kind of content. Be sure to use code Brivy in the item shop. Thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys have been amazing. Almost at 10K, which is just insane to me. So love you guys so much. And anyways, until next time, I love you. Peace out.